everyone, I hope you're doing well. If you don't already know who it is, the one and only, the true Alex J. Today we're going to do the Entrepreneur Success Podcast. This is something new that I haven't really done before. I've kind of tried it out a little bit in the past. It seems to have gone really well. I want to go at it, but I want to be doing this on a more regular basis. I want to be doing this every single day. I want to do this every single morning. So that you guys have got fresh content every single morning. You're learning every single day. You're hearing entrepreneur news, because what I've found is companies like Bloomberg, they're so big and it works well for the big companies, but it's not so great for the smaller companies, like the people that are just starting out. There's nothing really for them. There's some motivational stuff that you can listen to, but there's nothing really informative that's coming out on a daily basis, on a regular basis, on a consistent basis that's going to help you grow, especially if you're small. There's a few articles here and there, but there's nothing quite like this. So I've created this to help small business owners, small entrepreneurs, and medium-sized business owners get the news that's actually relevant to them, that could actually impact their business, give my opinion and receive your opinion as well. So this is going to be a two-way thing. When you hear me talking about something, I want to get your feedback. I want to hear back from you. Drop a comment below. Make sure to subscribe, and make sure to send me an inbox if you've got any questions, or you can email me any questions. You can email me any questions that you do have at alex.j, which is J-A-Y, at anythingforsuccess.com. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode. So the first thing that I've got here is an article that came out. It's from Forbes.com, the irony. It says 10 tips for starting a small business that haven't been said 1,000 times already. Let's have a look, shall we? It says address excuses. Countless people dream of becoming entrepreneurs, but they never do. They're burdened with excuses and fears of failing, from money to time to responsibilities, blah, 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 blah. I completely agree. Just address your excuses. Basically, stop making up reasons of why you're not doing it, why you're not being successful. It won't help you become successful. Creating excuses of why you're not successful won't make you successful. Oh, the reason I'm not successful is because of blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, but you're going to do anything about it? Because if the answer is no, nothing's going to change. The second thing, it says absorb everything. Yeah, I mean, to an extent, I wouldn't absorb everything. It says listen to what others have to say, friends, family, experts, and even yourself. I wouldn't. I completely disagree with that. If I was to listen to my friends and my family, I would never have started any businesses. I would never have made any money. I would just be working a 9 to 5. So I'd ignore that piece of advice, to be honest. And sometimes your own gut instinct can be wrong. I like to go on logic. That's the way that I prefer to do things. Be a solution. Oh, that was an advert. Be a solution. Rather than starting your own idea with what to sell, think about what it will solve. Yeah, again, that's, to be honest, it said 10 tips that you wouldn't have heard before. I think that's been said to death. I think everyone knows you need to fix a problem. The bigger the problem, you know, and the easier that you solved it, the more money you can make. Keep it simple. Again, kind of, maybe. Some ideas are simple, some ideas are very complicated, and some ideas seem simple, but they're actually very complicated. So again, it kind of depends. Count the costs, obviously, do the maths. That's just obvious. Imagine yourself with zero money. A lot of people don't have to imagine. Earn while you build. Yes, of course. Speak up about your business. Duh. Know the legal requirements. Do you know what? I'm going to mute the whole computer. Know the legal requirements for starting a small business. Yeah, again, obviously. See what the last one is. Balance passion with wisdom. I don't know. Again, it kind of depends. If some people, they do a business because they want to make money. They don't do it because it's a passion. It doesn't have to be a passion. You can do something because it makes a lot of money. You don't have to be passionate. You know, a surgeon doesn't have to be excited about every surgery that he's doing. He needs to just be able to do the job. So yeah. Okay, let's have a little look. See what else we've got going on. We've got Senator's health bill will make it easier for some small businesses. Not really relevant. Morning agenda, Oscar, and no, it doesn't matter. Small businesses urge Congress. No, it doesn't matter. Visa looking to help small businesses go cashless. Just sounds like an advert. Basically just trying to convince people to use card. I'm guessing. I haven't had a look, but I'm guessing that's what they're going to say. Small businesses optimism declined nationally in June. No. Small business group blasts new business tax incentives. maybe, but it kind of depends on the size of your business. Let's have a look, see what else we've got, shall we? We've got, here we go. This is going to be a good one. So we've got one from TechCrunch. Let's have a little look at this one, shall we? It says, meet Mobike, a billion-dollar bike sharing startup from China. Bike sharing in the year's hottest tech trend in China. The two biggest startups in the space have pulled in more than 1 billion, that's a lot of money, from VCs this year alone, and at valuations that exceed 1 billion, yet their businesses, are the bikes themselves, are not well known in the US and other parts of the world outside of China. So let's see, what is the business itself? The company was founded in 2015, and today it claims over 100 million registered users across more than 100 cities. Bear in mind, China is very populated. So try and keep that in mind. When they're saying like, 100 million people, it sounds like a lot, but I mean, if you put it in comparison to how many people they have, like their actual population, it might not be as much. It's just worth looking into before you jump into it and go, yeah, do you know what? That's great. Like you need to be thinking as well. Don't just take everything on face value is what I'm trying to say. Mobike charges 1 RMB. What's RMB? Charges 1 RMB. They don't then explain. Oh, that's the currency. So this is around 15 cents. Sorry, I thought RMB was like I thought it was an abbreviation of something, like as in Rome motorbikes or something. I don't know. Around 15 cents per 30 minutes. Its bikes are dockless, meaning they can be dropped. Wait, this isn't a new idea. This is already done in London, meaning they can be dropped off and picked up anywhere thanks to an embedded GPS chip, and are simply unlocked by scanning a QR code using the mobile phone. At peak times, Mobike claims it can handle as many as 25 million trips per day on its service. The company has raised more than 900 million from investors, which includes blah, 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 blah. So basically, you rent a bike, you get to cycle around, you just pay on how far you're going with it, and then other people can find it and go on it. I don't know. Maybe in the US, maybe this isn't popular. This is already fairly big in England. This is already pretty big in the UK. So I don't know. That's why it's a bit of a strange one for me. I already know this is fairly popular in England. They already do something similar to this, but it's usually banks. So like if you're a member of a bank, you can just use the bike and cycle around. In Holland as well, when I went to Holland, when I went to like Amsterdam, you can rent bikes and go around with them as well. So I mean, it seems like a very, very common thing. If this isn't already in America, maybe this would be something that you could look into. It won't be easy. It will not be easy. You need to think about so many things. You need to think about the costs. You need to think about location, the technology, the branding that you're going to need to do, the marketing that you're going to need to do. Like, there's a lot of money that goes with it. Also goes with culture as well. Is the American culture, is that something that they're moving towards? Is that something that could be done? Maybe in LA, I can imagine it working in LA because, everyone likes fitness in those kind of areas, but maybe New York, maybe, because, it's more dense, it's more people. I don't know. It's something that you'd have to consider. So there's a little bit to think about. The startup Visa might be gone for good. Oh, okay. Apparently that's a company that's not doing very well. Banking startup Curve raises 10 million. Should we have a look at that? Let's have a little look. Let's see what it's saying. That one didn't work. Fantastic. Okay, we've got Hyperloop starts to move up. UK FinTech raises... Oh, wow. Really? Let's have a little look. Don't worry. There's certain things I'm trying to avoid. I don't want to give you the boring information on the information that you don't need. I only want to give you the stuff that's going to be fairly relevant. This startup says, don't wash your bed sheets. I say wash them. I say wash them. Startup fundraising. Are two CEOs a good idea? It kind of depends. It can be really stressful. If you're going to work with any business partners, have you worked in business before? Have they worked in business before? Do you both have a good understanding? Do you have a good contract to make sure that it doesn't fall apart? If you have an argument, what happens? If you both have a big disagreement on a particular project, does it continue on anyway? Or does it go to a vote? Who votes? There's so many things that you need to consider when working with a business partner. So we've got ads for... Instagram news. We've got Mercedes-Benz claims to be the most successful auto brand on Instagram. Maybe. It's certainly nothing I'm going to check out though. Let's have a look. Learning from Kofifi. If you make a spelling mistake on social media, just own it, man. Just own it. Business program add-on born out of necessity. No. The impact of social media influencers on small business. Well, it's going to be, fairly big impact. Why is content so important in social media marketing? That's a stupid question. Really, if you don't know that answer, then I don't know if you should be on social media. Why is content so important? Because without content, you're not giving any value to anyone that's going to be looking at your stuff. You want to give out as much value as you can. You want to help them as much as you can. And the more value that you can give, the more money that you will receive. It's kind of a no-brainer, but apparently someone needed to write an article about it. Let's have a look, see what Facebook's got. Facebook is adding live VR broadcasts to your newsfeed. That's going to be something to look at. VR is a growing trend. What's my opinion on VR for the future? I don't know. VR is very strange because I'm not sure at what stage we're at. If you remember 3D long time ago, 3D used to be with blue on one eye and red on the other, right? And VR for me feels very similar. I'm not quite sure. Like, is it going there? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be relevant? Or is this like the red and the blue where it's going to, it'll build up, everyone's hyped, everyone's excited, like, yo, this VR thing is going to be the next thing, then it disappears, and then comes back in 20 years when it's actually ready? Maybe. For me, I just can't see, and maybe it's me being silly, but I really can't see why VR's such a big deal. I get it's cool. I get it's really cool. It's fun. I don't know where the next step is. I know there's a next step. I just don't think we're there yet. I think it's like phones. I think when phones first came out, like these big blocky things, and now we've got like really good smartphones, right? I think VR right now is still way back there. I don't think it's anywhere near finished. I think it's still very, very early on in its evolution, and that's why I have a hard time every time people are talking about VR and the future of VR and blah 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, but I don't think anyone knows where it's going yet. Like years and years ago when there was all the horses and carriages, there was predictions on, if there's all these horses and the population gets bigger and bigger, there's going to be horse poop everywhere, and then, it's going to build up and no one will be able to have any horses and everyone's going to die. There's weird, but then they didn't see the car coming, right? They didn't see the car coming. This is the same kind of thing. No one saw the internet coming. No one saw smartphones coming. I don't think we can see the next thing yet. I don't think VR is quite there. I don't know. I'd love to hear your opinion. Do you think VR is already at its final thing? Do you think it's just a trend and it's going to disappear? Do you think this is the beginning of the evolution and that there's going to be a lot more to come? I'd love to hear your opinion. I remember when people were talking about, Pokemon Go, it's a revolution, it's going to take over, this is going to be crazy, blah, 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 blah. And then Pokemon Go was around for how long? I don't even remember. I never downloaded the app. I never played it once. It came and it went so quick. I never played it. I didn't even download it. I wasn't even a little bit curious. I was like, I don't think this is going to last. And it didn't. It's the same as fidget spinners. They're going to be gone, people. They're going to be gone. Don't be investing in fidget spinners. So it says Facebook is adding live VR broadcast to your newsfeed. This is from technologyreview.com. It says virtual reality is still far from a mass market technology. You see what I mean? Cut suggests that Facebook's Oculus Rift headsets are still not finding their way off store shelves, but the social network remains determined to give more people a taste of VR, even if they don't have it on their faces. It's kind of what I'm saying, like the price is wrong right now. I just don't think it's there. It's not where it should be yet. I don't know what that next step is. If I did, I'd be a billionaire, but I think there's a next step. Facebook's latest effort makes this clear. On Wednesday, it will start letting people use its virtual reality hangout, Facebook Spaces, to broadcast cartoonish avatars of themselves live on Facebook itself. That way, they can connect with the vast majority of Facebook's 2 billion users who use a phone and computer rather than a VR headset to view the site. What? Never heard of Spaces? You're not alone. The VR app, which launched in April, places users' avatars around a virtual table where they can talk and do a few things like doodle in the air with 3D markers and watch 360 videos that surround them. So far, I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe it's your thing. If you're into this, and maybe I'm just understating it, maybe I don't see the true value, I'd love to hear your opinion. What do you think about VR? Drop it in the comments below now. Let's see. We've got, who is Jaden K. Smith? Stop sharing. Okay, skip that one. Because there's so many different articles, but I only want to be reading the good ones. Why it's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur. We're gonna have a look at that. Because there's a big debate right now about, I read this article and it said about entrepreneurs and startups being a cult. It said, startups are a cult because what's happening a lot and more regularly is that people will say, join my company, I'll give you shares in the company. If it's successful, you're going to make loads of money. Problem is, most of them aren't successful. Obviously, 99% of businesses fail. So a lot of people, they end up working like a year, basically for free, because they think that these stocks are going to be worth a fortune. It never pays off. The company falls, their stocks are worth nothing, and they've got nothing to show for it. And apparently this is happening more and more regularly because people are so in tune with the Apple and, Facebook and all these stories that they believe that they're going to be a part of that one really successful one. Truth of the matter is, it's very unlikely, and it's very difficult. There was another article that I read this morning, and it basically said about there's not been a big internet company since 2010. Since the 2000s when Facebook came around, and since 2010 to now, it's been very flat. There's not been any big companies, and they were doing I'm talking so many places like Vox. Vox is one of the places that was doing one of those articles. There was so many, but Vox was one of them, and they're basically saying that there's been no big internet companies. They said Uber was going to be successful, but now the managing director has stepped down, so now it's not even going to be a successful company anymore. And Instagram doesn't count because it was bought out by Facebook, and Snapchat is failing and blah, blah, blah. And it's just basically saying that internet companies aren't doing it anymore. And my big rebuttal to all of that is that's absolute nonsense, absolute garbage. Of course internet businesses are being successful. Think about it. Instagram was bought out by Facebook. It was bought out by Facebook. So you can't say that they don't count because they are Facebook. No, they're not. They were bought out by Facebook. Facebook's smart because it bought them while they were still young. It bought Instagram while they were still young. And that's why they had the success that they had. That's my personal opinion. Because people that try to go against Facebook, like Snapchat, they just get killed, absolutely pummeled. Like when Snapchat refused to get purchased by Facebook, Facebook were like, oh, okay, we're going to kill you now. And they just destroyed Snapchat, absolutely destroyed Snapchat. Speaking of which, if you're in the stock market, and this isn't financial advice for anyone, you don't have to take this. This is just my personal opinion. Do with it what you will. But if I was in the stock market, I would personally short Snapchat. It's going to die. It's already dying. It's been dying for a long time. It's going down. Short it. You'll make a load of money from it. Just put as much money as you can and short that stock. That's my personal opinion. Don't take it. It's got no real substance to it. That's just my personal opinion. I've been watching that stock die for quite a while. You can make quite a bit of money if you short it. Because that company's not going to recover. I'll tell you now, it's not going to recover. Again, my personal opinion, but I just don't see it happening. So they're saying that these internet companies aren't being successful anymore. There's not been any really big ones, since Facebook. They said Airbnb and stuff is only worth 30 billion or something crazy. And my point was that's still a lot of money. That's still a lot of money. You can't knock it because they're saying. It's only worth 7% of what Facebook's worth. Yeah, but given the fact that Facebook came in at a great time because it came in before the recession and it battled through, it had so much money that it was able to then survive the recession. But everyone after is you have to keep in mind the financial climate. Everyone that's joining in now is basically coming in after the financial markets have crashed, after everything's gone wrong. And now they're trying to come in And all the investors are a lot more cautious. Everyone's a lot more worried. They're taking less risks, right? Because they don't want to be a part of the volatility. They don't want to be in a losing, like they don't want to lose money right now because they're still a bit worried about what's just happened with the financial markets. So to say that there's no big successful companies afterwards, yes, there is. You just have to give them a bit more time. Plus, the big companies keep buying out all the small companies before they can get big enough, so they can't be a success on their own. You've got to keep all of that in mind. So if you've been hearing that internet startups can't make a lot of money and internet companies aren't as successful as they were back then, and all of the good things have been taken, it's nonsense, absolute nonsense. Don't listen to it. I'm telling you now, they're skipping so many details. They're skipping about the financial crisis. They're skipping the fact that the big companies have been purchasing the small companies. They're skipping all of those details, and then they just come up with this stupid conclusion. Again, I'd love to hear what you think. That's just my personal opinion. I'd like to believe that I'm right, but I would love to hear your opinion. What do you think? Do you think that I'm right? Do you think that the internet businesses are starting to fail? Do you think that all the good stuff has been taken, like social media and e-commerce and all that, search engines, like all that stuff was easy? Do you think that all the good stuff's already been taken and there's nothing left? Or do you think there's still a lot more to come? Because I personally don't believe that we've hit the end. I think there's still a lot more to come. I think there's a lot more opportunity yet to come. We just can't see what it is yet. Like I said, horses and cars, So let's keep moving on, shall we? Here we go. This is one. It's from thesun.co.uk. It says, schoolboy entrepreneur. Schoolboy entrepreneur earns $13,000 a year, aged just 8, flogging eggs around town. Okay, that's cool. It sounds like an inspirational thing, but I've just looked down a little bit, and all of a sudden I'm like, this was good. Right? I thought this was going to be an inspirational story. I thought this was really cool. Think about it. 8 years old, $13,000. Boy, that's incredible. Don't get like that. That in itself is impressive. Listen, if your name is Junior Wyatt, fair play to you. I'm not knocking you at all, but I have just seen this next line. So listen to me out before you complain. Why would you say that about an 8-year-old? He's doing so well. He is. You'll understand what I'm saying. He set up his company called Mr. Free Range with £10 of his pocket money last month. The title of this is 13,000 in a year. Earns 13,000 a year. They said it like he's already done it, but it clearly says here, he set up a company called Mr. Free Range Egg with £10 of his pocket money last month. So it hasn't been a year, so he hasn't made 13,000. And again, I'm not knocking the kid. By the way, I'm definitely not knocking the kid. I'm knocking the person that wrote this article, because basically what they've done is, this kid's done something incredible, he's done something amazing, and then they basically completely devalued everything that he's done by doing an overhyped title. Because now, whatever he achieves, because he won't make 13,000. Whatever happens, I mean, unless he's really lucky. Because there's so many things that aren't being accounted for. Like, let me read the article. The young businessman flogs the eggs at the rate of £2 for 6, £3.50 for 12, and £6 for 30 after collecting them in bulk from his local farm shop. So is that net profit or not? Anyway, in the last week, he sold 750 eggs, which earned him around 250. Just listen. Do you see what I mean? This again, I'm not knocking the kid. The kid's done great. He's come up with an idea and he's just gone for it. He's like, I'm going to sell eggs, and he's done it. That's awesome, dude. If you're watching this, fair play to you. You're doing really cool. I just hate the way that this article's been written about you. The person that wrote this is a bad person, right? Because because listen, it says, in the last week, he sold 750 eggs, which earned him around £250. And with the customer numbers on the rise, his yearly figure is expected to hit at least 13,000. So it's just a projection. It's just a projection. And again, I'm not knocking this kid, but what I'm trying to say is, there's so many things that they're missing out. Like, they're missing out the fact, like, what about tax? What about all the, like, because if he's going to have that many eggs, I doubt he's going to be able to get them from one source. So he's going to have to get them from more than one source. So the prices could increase or decrease dependent on that. Then you've got to work out delivery costs, because if he's going to have more customers, he's then got to work out how he's going to deliver it to further people further out, and then he's got to pay staff or petrol or whatever to get it across to wherever. So when you put all of that in, plus tax and everything else, when you put all of that in, it's not going to be 13,000, is it? And that's what I hate, because this kid's he's doing really well. Like, even if he only did 4,000 in a year or 6,000 in a year or whatever, it's still impressive because the kid's 8. That's incredible. That's really cool. And I didn't do that when I was 8. That's really cool. Again, I just hate the way that this person's written it, because they've set him up for failure. They've worded it to let me have a look. Let me see. Yeah, see, like, I'm just reading so I've just scrolled down. I'm just reading the comment. And again, I'm not hating on the kid. I'm really not. I'm not jealous of him. He's doing really well. He's doing cool. I just wish they hadn't set him up like this, because if he does 8,000 in a year, he's going to feel disappointed, and the parents are going to feel disappointed because they didn't hit that big number. It's just because the expectation was ridiculous in the beginning. Like, they shouldn't have said that. They should have just said, he started a business. This is what would have been a better article. He's just started a business. He did £250 last week selling eggs. Wow, that's incredible. If he continues at this rate, he could possibly make 13,000 or something along those lines. Don't say that he's going to make 13,000, because I'm just reading the comments and someone's written, whoever wrote this needs to learn basic math. Selling 13,000 worth of eggs does not equate to 13,000 profit unless he gets them free and has no delivery costs. Good luck to him, but seriously, why try to over-egg the story? Hey, over-egg the story. And then people are just writing, it's rubbish. Like, then there's just a lot of hate comment. But it's not his fault. If they'd have written the story in a better way, you wouldn't have had it. But whoever wrote this story clearly just wanted loads of clicks. Sam Christie. Shame on you, Sam. Shame on you, Sam Christie, for writing it like that. Because you know all you're doing is trying to get clicks on the article. I understand that. Fair play to that bit. But the way that you've done it is really unfair on this kid, because it's just going to put him in such a horrible position. Like, get his expectations up. He won't do it, and then what? He might give up because you wrote the title wrong. I don't like that at all. I don't agree with that at all. Moving on to something more positive. What every entrepreneur can learn from the bicycle. One-stop shop for social entrepreneur funding. No. Charged Up podcast. Become a suitcase entrepreneur. No. See what else we got. Facebook takes Messenger ads global. Really? I was kind of waiting for this. I wasn't sure if it was ever going to happen, but apparently it is. So Facebook takes Messenger ads global. So if you don't already know, there's going to be... Yeah, look, Facebook will start showing user ads on the homepage of its Messenger app as it looks to offer advertisers more way to reach customers beyond its core advertising. So basically, you're going to be able to get advertisers... people are going to be able to advertise through Messenger, which is great, by the way. So if you're a business owner and you're looking to advertise, you might now be able to advertise through someone's chat, which is cool. So basically, when you press on Messenger, you've got a list of names of people. So you might say Sam, Jake, Christy, Bob, Willis, whatever. In between those names, there'll be like an advert. So it's not actually inside your messages. It's not like, hi, how you doing, advert. It's like name, advert, name, advert, or whatever. It's on that section of the screen. It's important to realize it's on that section of the screen, so it's not really that annoying. That's great. For business owners, that's fantastic. For users, that would be a bit annoying that it's there. Like, why did you really need that extra buck? But for business owners, it's really cool because we can now advertise directly through the Messenger, which is just more people. You're just reaching more people, which I think is great. A lot of people have the Messenger app on their phone, because sometimes people use the Messenger but they're not using the actual Facebook, so they won't see the ads. So having it on the Messenger means that you're going to be able to reach more people. I think it's cool. I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. There's some stuff about social media search agencies. Let's have a little look what they got to say. 6 client retention strategies. Number 1, build rapport with your clients. Obviously. It's always a good idea to build rapport with your clients. That's a no-brainer. Number 2, identify client personas. Yes. The way they've done it's a bit weird. I wouldn't do it the way they've done it. They've done it like, there's one that says Hawk. It says characteristics. Growth obsessed, likes trying new things, might be a new business venture, blah, 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 blah. Then there's Fox, willing, smart, wanting to grow more, blah, 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 blah. Mouse, panda. I think they're just joking at this point. You can do character types, but don't do it like that. That's just weird. Identify client primary motivation factor. Yeah, you can do that. Practice radical honesty. You can also do that. Plan for calls and meetings, obviously. Influence your clients, social media, blah, 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 blah. Again, obviously. That was from searchenginejournal.com. I think that was just an easy article, to be honest. There was nothing of value in there. It was like, know your customer and sell them. Yeah, obviously. 3 awesome underground SEOs that you should be following. SEO, if you don't already know, is search engine optimization. This is from searchenginejournal.com. This is loads of rubbish, so I'm going to skip it. I was reading an article earlier and they were talking about the power of local SEO. Is local SEO good? Should you be bothering to do it? Local SEO is great, depending on what you're trying to sell. I wouldn't put a lot of money on it. It's great if you've got a photography agency. It's great because you need people to come to you so that you can do the photos. But if you're doing something, online, so let's say for example that I was selling expensive camera equipment, right? I've got to think realistically how many people inside of my area are going to be able to purchase this equipment. So I can do SEO as much as I want, but I'm going to saturate my market very quickly at some point. So it's actually more beneficial to expand outwards and to advertise out to other people and then work out, how much it's going to cost to do shipping and blah, 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 blah. That would be the way that I would approach it personally. I wouldn't just focus on local SEO. Now, I did get one good question from Facebook. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump in there. If you give me 2 moments, let me just jump across. Someone asked me a question in the Entrepreneur Success group. If you haven't already, make sure to go on facebook.com and look for Entrepreneur Success. It's a group. It's a very big group. I've got over 7,000 people inside of my group right now. There's 7,600. Now, inside that group, I was asked a question by Michael. It says, what advice would you give to a starting entrepreneur who's seeking an investment of at least 100,000, growing up and coming from a poor background? I must admit, obtaining 100,000 for the complementary of my business seems a bit intimidating. Any advice? Oh, for the completion of my business, sorry. He's trying to get 100,000 for the completion of his business. Here's the best advice that I can give you as someone that's done investing. In fact, I've actually, right next to me, I have an investment sheet, which is basically goes over things that I'm investing in right now. It's not your money. If you're trying to get investment right now, listen to me. It's not your money, okay? And you need to keep that in mind. Some investors, they might say to you, how much money have you made previously? And then based on that, they can do the maths and say, right, this is where we think you're going to get. And you can try to convince them otherwise, but they're going to kind of look at the numbers. And if it's going well, great. Let's say for example, you wanted 100,000, an investor could turn around to you and say, okay, I'll give you 80,000 if you can put in 20 yourself. So go out, get a loan, 20,000, and I'll give you 80,000 if you do that, because that way you're responsible. And if inside your heart you feel nervous about doing that, it means it's probably not a good idea to go and ask for investment, because if you're terrified of losing your money at 20,000, this guy's putting 80,000 on the line. So if you're scared to risk 20,000, is it fair to ask him for 80? Do you see what I mean? So kind of keep that in mind. As well, you need to work out, do you really need 100,000? Do you really need it? Like, work out how much do you actually need? Because I doubt it's exactly 100,000. I would break it down and say, right, this is what I need. They're not going to pay you just, because some people, they get so confused, I'm going to get $1 million investment. Okay, that's great, but how much money are you going to make? Because that money's not yours. Like, you don't get to retire now. You don't get that money and say, yep, I'm retired now. I got the big deal. No, you've then got to make money to pay that due back, and then you get money afterwards. So you have to keep all that in mind. So if the company collapses, you still didn't make any money. Even if it was $1 billion loan, it doesn't matter. It's like a loan, all right? You're still paying that guy back. Sometimes you don't get to take a salary out of it. And if you're intending to take a salary, I'd definitely speak to the investor, because most of the time, if you're going to get a salary of any sort, they'll say to you, okay, how much is your rent? How much is your food? They'll pay just a little bit above that, and then everything else, like all the rest of the profits from the company, can go straight to them until they pay back. Or it could be just a percentage over time. So it could be like 5% forever, or it could be contingency investment percentage. So it could be like 5% unless you fail to hit the target, and then it goes up to 20%, or 20%, and if you hit that target, it goes down to 5%, and so on and so forth. Like, there's so many different ways of getting a deal. But then you need to figure out, what do you need the money for? Like, do you need 100,000 or you just want 100,000? Because one of the things I hate is when someone comes to me for an investment and then they say something like, I wanna do, let's say I want to open a nail salon. It's like, okay, cool. How much is that going to cost? Oh, sorry. Like, how much is a nail salon going to cost? It's going to cost me this amount. Okay, cool. And what do you need this amount of money for? If the rent is that much, why do you need this much? Oh, because I'm going to spend like 10,000 on advertising. I'm like, okay, what advertising are you going to do? I don't know. What do you mean? You just asked me for 10,000 for advertising. For what advertising? I don't know. Or it's like this. I want 10,000 for advertising. Okay, for where are you going to advertise? I don't know. Maybe Facebook, Google. Okay, and what target, what demographic are you going to be looking for? I'm not sure about the demographic. Well, I need to know. Like, you should know your demographic. You should know your audience. Oh yeah, they're between 25 and 45, usually from Australia, female. Seem to buy more from me, like by 53%, comparing males at 47%. Like, I know that they usually respond better in the mornings and they eat at late afternoons. Comparing during the day, I know that they have a spending habit on this XYZ, blah 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 blah. Like, if you can break it down like that, that's impressive. Like, that's something that I can look at and go, they know what they're talking about. They know where they're actually going to spend their money. How are you going to get a return? We're going to do this, 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 and this. Don't just tell me one way. Don't say to me, I'm going to make money just like this. So, but what if that doesn't work? Oh, I don't know. That's no good. Like, dude, you're asking for 100K. Like, you need to tell me, like, how many ways have you got of making money from this? And how are you going to make sure to focus on all of them? I don't want you distracted. I don't want there to be 5 ways and you're struggling. You're spreading yourself so thin to focus on all of them. You really need to break it down. How much money do you need? What do you need to spend it on? Like, how are you going to make a return on that? Over what time period? Like, what contingencies are in place to stop things going wrong? How competitive, what's your competition like? Where are they spending their money? What are they doing? How are you going to stop the competitors dominating your market if they sense a threat? Because that can happen as well. You could have a competitor come over and just completely do you out. Like, for example, let's say, for example, you were doing drinks. Let's say you had a convenience store, like a small corner store, right? And you're like, right, I'm going to sit up here. There's no one else here. I've got nothing to worry about. I'm going to sit up. It's a nice area. We'll start making money. If your competitor sees you, so like, let's say that you've got a corner store and like a big corporate company, they can buy a spot next to you, okay? In fact, they could buy 2 spots. They could buy one this, and I've seen this done, by the way. I've seen this done. It's horrible, absolutely horrible. They buy one there and they buy one the other side. So you're in the middle. They'll buy one to the right, one to the left, right? And they'll put their prices lower than you can afford to do. They'll take the loss because they got so much money. It doesn't matter. They'll take the loss on both of them to the point where you can't hack it anymore and you have to close the store because you can't make any money because everyone around you is not buying from your store because your prices are higher. You can't make it any lower. It's higher than theirs. You end up closing down and then they'll shut one, keep that one, and just put the prices back to normal. So now they've already dominated that spot and they managed to knock you out. How are you going to combat that? You need to be thinking like that, strategic. How am I going to stop that happening? How am I going to ensure that I'm safe? Is there more than one income stream? How am I going to ensure that the streams are all running? How can I focus my time across all of them? How can I use my time effectively to bring this person their money back? An investor wants to know absolutely everything from the beginning all the way through to the end. But when you first approach an investor, you need to give them a very, very short, and this is what's really important. You need to make sure that you've already got all of your stuff sorted. Go speak to your family members, go speak to everyone. Get them to critique you. Get people to critique the hell out of your company. Get them to say everything wrong with it. Like, this is wrong, I don't like this, what about this? What about? Just get people to just constantly knock it down so that you can fix everything. So then when you go to the investor, everything's already perfect. You already have all the questions answered. You already have every single strategy planned. And then you can go to them with a lot of confidence and say, okay, I don't need 100,000. I need 74,000. I need 74,000 because I need to spend it on this. This is how I'm going to get my returns, like through this. Like you've got everything already planned out. This is how we're going to stop competitors coming in. This is how we're going to make sure to take market control. This is how we're going to like you can go through everything, and all of a sudden the investor's now taking you seriously. Oh damn, they've really thought about this. They've broken this all the way down. What about this? Oh, you've already got the answer. What about this? Oh, you already got the answer. You see, that's the difference. So that's a successful pitch. How are you going to do a successful pitch with an experienced investor? Anything else? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, just if you're not sure where to reach out to investors, there's loads of angel investor websites. Again, you need to be able to say something really short and sweet that's going to hook them in. And once they're hooked, then you want to go in for the kill. But just make sure that you've got everything prepared before that bit, because you don't want to speak to an investor and they turn you down and then you learn and then you start going, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. Like you want to do it the other way around, where you're already prepared and you go in and you're fully guns loaded, right? And then you can just unload all your information, everything that you know, get that person to sign the deal, and then boom, job done. So that's my advice. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear your opinion. Drop a comment below. Make sure to subscribe. I'm serious. Don't miss it. I'm going to do this every single day. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. I look forward to speaking to you guys again soon. Make sure to follow me on facebook.com/thetruealexj. You can also find me on instagram.com/alexj020. Look forward to speaking to you guys again soon. But in the meantime, peace.